Want to thank you for getting on the call and doing this testimonial for Jolene and Kathleen today. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are, and then we'll get right into the questions.
Terrific. Yeah, my name's Aaron Klapper. I'm a real estate broker in Southern California, Manhattan Beach, California, and that's who I am.
Great. So tell me to start off with, how long have you been working with Bullseye Hiring and System Success?
Not too long. I think it's probably been less than a year. I'd say, somewhere around 8 or 10 months, I'd say.
All right, great. And explain a little bit about how or what intrigued you to reach out to them.
So, just like I'm a professional with what I do, there's other people that are professionals with what they do, and I certainly know where my strengths and where my weaknesses are. My strengths are in, listing and selling real estate, not necessarily in being, training an assistant or doing assistant type work or finding an assistant. So I was having some issues with my previous assistant. She just wasn't, filling the needs that I required. And I was having lunch with a colleague of mine who I respected, and suggested that I reach out to Kathleen and Jolene to help train my assistant to operate at a higher level. And that's kind of how it all started.
Great. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about the systems that they put in place for training compared to some of the ways that you had tried to train your assistants in the past and what you noticed the big changes were?
Yeah, sure. So I didn't have a system in the past is really the honest truth about it all, is that I've developed skills over the years on how to be a real estate broker, not how to be an assistant. And in the beginning, you're wearing all these hats, but as you get busier and do more business, you find that you need the support of a professional assistant. So I went and found someone through a friend of mine, kind of a friend of a friend situation, and just hired her on the spot. I didn't really know what I was looking for. She seemed like a nice person, and it was a little bit of a free-for-all, a lot of bit of a free-for-all. That's all it was. And so that was my, we were just kind of just trial by fire, really. Every time a new situation came up, we'd try and learn from it and implement it, and it was really just kind of bumbling through it. So there was no system in the past. It's exactly the other end of the spectrum with Kathleen and Jolene. They have exceptional levels of experience in working as assistants, in hiring assistants, training assistants, running real estate companies, really understanding the business from the inside out, and being able to, just really streamline the process of getting an assistant up to speed. So all I know is that my assistant has a weekly call with them. She's gone through an extensive training process. She can reach out to Kathleen and Jolene whenever she has questions, and it's like having a personal HR department. It's pretty awesome. The leadership that they provide, and quite honestly, I don't need to get involved anymore. I can focus on what I do best and how to just spend my time doing income-producing activity. And Kathleen and Jolene take care of everything assistant related. It's a really nice relationship.
Okay, so before we started the recording, you were telling me about how you had some turnover in your assistant position. Tell me a little bit about the hiring process. How long did it take Kathleen and Jolene to find you a new assistant? And um, tell us about some of the ways that they searched for those assistants for you.
So I happen to be in Southern California. I think it's an area, from what I understand, where there's a lot of candidates to choose from. So they were able to, in pretty short order, I mean, I think within about 30 days, find me some really good candidates. I don't know specifically how they went about doing the searching process. I don't really care. What I do care about is that they are doing a lot of the legwork beforehand, so that by the time they deliver the prospect to me, the assistant to me, that they've already vetted out all the people that they know won't be the right fit. Ultimately, I say within about 3 to 4 weeks, they had 3 or 4, maybe 5 really good candidates. They took them through an exhaustive process. I know that because really before I even had a chance to speak to any of the assistants, Kathleen and Jolene took them through an interview process, both verbal and written, disc profiles, other types of testing, not just, and really going through the resume. And by the time they got to me, it was really like these people are ready to come in, sit down, have an interview, and they'd already been through that vetting process.
Great. So tell me how Jolene and Kathleen kind of vetted you, because I'm sure that a good assistant for someone else may not be the perfect assistant for you. So tell me how they matched up the right assistant to the needs that you had.
Yeah, that's a great question because they definitely did that. A lot of questions. Kathleen specifically spent a lot of time talking to me, asking me about my style, my approach, because you're right. There are different assistants for different people, and she really has an understanding of the kind of business I run, the way that I kind of lead my team, and who would be the right personality style that would fit into that program. Jolene actually came to my office and really kind of shadowed me for the day to really get a very deep understanding of the dynamic of the team, the dynamic of the space. I really, anything they offered, I bought. I mean, I just really was so impressed by their approach to what they can do to help me grow my business, that I just really was very receptive to having them come in and really give me a professional kind of makeover and an overhaul. And that's just what they did. And it's been spectacular. Really has in a sense legitimized my business. I think a lot of agents that get started and they have some success, but we start out as one person, and then grow to two, and then three and four. We start to develop a team and putting systems in place, and but again, we don't start out as business owners necessarily with that kind of skill set. Some people do, but I sure didn't. So I had to implement an employee handbook. Even in the hiring process, my first assistant, I just said, "Yeah, let's do it." And my last assistant through Kathleen and Jolene, there was an offer letter that was presented. There was a job description. There was an organizational chart. There's everything is done appropriately and properly, and it really protects me. It protects the assistant, and there's integrity in the process, which makes it a lot more workable.
All right. And tell us about one time specifically, if you can think of one, that Kathleen and Jolene went above and beyond your expectations and fulfilled a need that you didn't think they would be able to help.
The first thing that comes to mind is, well, I'll just speak a little more specifically. It's nothing too dramatic, but what I will say is this: in speaking with both of these ladies, most recently with Kathleen, because of her level, really both of their levels of experience, they've seen it all. They've kind of been there, done that with almost every situation that has come up with regard to being a team leader, dealing with assistants, and they understand from the team leader's perspective and from the assistant's perspective. I would say where they went above and beyond is their level of accessibility, the level of care and passion that they put into their work. It's kind of not normal. They take this very, very seriously. They take my success very, very seriously. So, we have scheduled calls. I'll call them anytime I need them. I'll email them anytime I need them, and I know that they can be counted on. And yeah, you would think that that's kind of a standard thing that you'd expect from any business person. But when you receive that level of service, it's special because that's not very common. So, I just can't say enough about them. They've been so supportive of my growth.
Great. So it sounds like it was a really good fit for you, and it was the right decision for you to get started working with Kathleen and Jolene. What would you recommend to somebody that may be on the fence and doesn't know if maybe it's the right fit for them? What would you say to that person?
So I'd say start with a conversation. It's important to call these ladies and have a conversation, and let them do a little audit, I guess, of your situation. Spend a few minutes on the phone and at least start the process, or at least open up the conversation. They don't have to commit to anything. You're not committing to spending, money or anything like that. Just have a conversation and let them start with a little bit of kind of an audit of your business situation, and start, with let them ask you some questions about how you run your business. So the main thing I think that I would want other agents to know or to understand is, well, I think I'd ask them to start with a question, which is, they have strengths and they have weaknesses, and that's okay. Their strengths should be in business development, in income-producing activity. Hopefully, their strength is not in income servicing, because if their strength is in income servicing, they are the assistant. So my guess is a lot of agents that are in a position that need good administrative staff are not going to be experts in dealing with the staff, training the staff, supporting the staff, and that's where these ladies really step in. So I would have everybody just ask themselves, do I have the proper administrative support? Am I getting the support I need? Can I count on my administrative support? Do I feel comfortable delegating to my administrative staff? If you don't, then you need to hire these ladies to get it, to get things in order for you. Because, what a shame for an agent that has the skill sets to be earning, $200, $300, $400, $500 an hour, $1,000 an hour. Let's face it, when these agents are good producers, they're earning $500 or $1,000 an hour. And if they're doing $20 an hour work, shame on them. So if you have issues with delegating because you don't feel like you have good, solid administrative support, hire these ladies. Get your support in order so you can focus on how to really, utilize yourself in your own highest and best use. I understand that I can't do it all, and I'm trying to really stay focused on using my time and my effort and my energy on the things that are going to most positively impact the profitability of my business. Anything I can delegate, I want to learn how to delegate, and any support I can give to my administrative staff so I can more comfortably delegate to them and they can be more efficient in managing that process, I'm going to do it. It's going to make me more money. It's going to make them money. It's going to create just an ease at which business works. It's going to give way better customer service to my clients. It just works. So, these ladies have been super helpful for me and my business, and I'm very appreciative to them.